are broadcasting to you from our North Catholic Studios in Cranberry Township with our Varsity Girls Volleyball Preview episode. My name is Alex Brown.
And I'm Ryan Berry.
And we are your hosts for this podcast on North Catholic Athletics.
Yep, we're talking to volleyball coaches, some players. They had a great season last year, and they're looking to build on it for the upcoming season.
Absolutely, Ryan. Won WPIALs last year in 2A. Went to states, lost in the semifinal, but they ended up finishing third at states. Banner year for most programs, but it left something to be desired in their season last year, because this team is so successful year in and year out, especially since Coach Fetter came here, and they won a state championship back in 2019, and they're looking for that again this year, Ryan. And based on our conversations with them, what'd you get out of it?
I mean, although they've been so successful the past couple of years, Coach Amanda Fetter is making sure they're focused on this season, taking a game by game and not looking out of the future, just taking care of the game. She said, sometimes you think that you're just going to blow a team out, and those are the harder games against the weaker teams because you play a different game. You mentally, it's a little different playing a team that's with like a 2-7 record compared to like a 7-2 record, but sometimes you struggle with those teams just because you're not completely focused, so that's why you got to take a game by game.
And obviously, you'll see from our conversations the emphasis on family. They feel like they're such a tight-knit group that really helps them on and off the court. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yes, it seems like all the players, they just say it's a family. Ever since we got here as a freshman, we've been welcomed by the team. It's just been a great atmosphere. And I think that kind of builds into success because if you have good team chemistry, then you're going to play well on the court because you like the people you're playing with and you're not selfish and thinking it's about yourself. You're thinking more about the team.
And this is a team that comes into each season with high expectations. And I think the expectations are high because of the success of the winning culture. As they talk about winning culture in their interviews with them as well, the winning culture that they've developed and how that's been Coach's MO since she got here, was trying to develop a winning culture with depth behind it. And that's a tough thing to do.
And she's built that winning culture. They are losing their star senior Elizabeth Fesco, but she said they built up enough depth behind it that they're not going to drop off very much, and they're going to have a target on their backs because of that success they've had in the WPIAL year after year. So they got to become prepared every game because every team's going to bring their A game against them.
So we've talked about the interviews. Now it's time for us to show you them to you, and you'll hear me flub up a couple intros when we're doing that, right, Ryan? I messed up a couple, but it was good. Well,
nothing out of the ordinary.
Nothing out. Yeah, I guess not. And here are those interviews now.
We're here with North Catholic volleyball coach Amanda Fetter. Coach, thank you for taking the time to talk with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Coach, you're going into your fourth season coaching here at North. How have you been able to be so successful in such a short time coaching at North with multiple golds and high finishes at states?
Honestly, it's the talent level that we get. We have been blessed here to have a nice group, nice groups of girls coming through to us, and the Catholic elementary schools do a great job preparing the girls to be at the high school level. And we actually are kind of at a little bit of advantage because of that, because most girls don't start playing until the 7th grade, and our kids start in 3rd and 4th.
Yeah.
So we get them with a lot more experience, and like I said, we've just been really blessed with the talent level that we've got to have in the gyms.
So obviously you've had players come and go over your time at North. How important is building up depth behind them in order to be able to be a competitive team year to year?
Very. It's and with volleyball, I think it's a lot more about building the winning culture, and you have to have that depth to do that. If you weren't very deep when you are winning, then the people behind them don't know or understand what it, quote unquote, what it takes to win. So it's really important that you have that depth. And we've been, like I said, we've been blessed to have it. I mean, this year we have 2 really strong classes, and the people that are in between them and above them are really big contributors as well. So it's working out in our favor. So,
how do you start developing a winning culture, as you said?
I think it's getting the girls to buy in and commit to working hard and understanding that it's okay to fail as long as you learn from your failures and move on. And we talk about that a lot in practice. We talk a lot about going one play at a time, one game at a time, one ball at a time, in very different forms. And the girls understand that when they make a mistake, we don't really necessarily worry about the mistake in itself. We really want them to make sure that they're learning and growing from that mistake. So it's a very, I think anyways, and maybe my girls feel differently, but I think that we've built a nice positive culture, and allowing the girls that flexibility, I think, is at the root of building a winning program.
Throughout the season, you play teams that are a lot weaker than you overall. How are you able to keep focus for those games and not looking ahead to the important games in the future?
I mean, you'd be really surprised. Those games are really hard to play. So, like, volleyball is really systematic, and it's very much our girls who we actually this year had 14, I'm pretty sure it's 14, it might be 15 girls that are on our roster that had the privilege of playing at USAV Nationals, which is like the highest level you can get in volleyball. And when you're playing at that level, it's super systematic. So it's very pass, set, hit on each side, and you're working on getting those 3 contacts. So when you play teams that are sending over stuff that's different than that, it's quite a challenge. So, and I tell the girls all the time that because we have been successful, it doesn't matter where we go in, we have a target on us. Everybody wants to play their best game and put their best foot forward against us. So although we do tend to handle ourselves very well in section, it's really not easy. It may seem like it from the score, but our girls do a really good job of staying disciplined and making sure that we're staying in system and carrying ourselves the way that we want to.
When you have players, as you said, that are competing at the highest level that you can possibly can at this age, like in the national tournament, and you have freshmen coming in that haven't had that experience before, how are you able to mix those players together and form that kind of chemistry?
Yeah. You know what? It's really funny because this year we have 4 or 5 freshmen that actually play at that level too. So at their age, at their respective age group, like we have some kids who are seniors, like Riley Warda, for instance, who did go and play at the national tournament, and we have a grouping of juniors, but there's honestly some in every class for us that get to play at that level. So it's pretty awesome. Like we're really, like I said, we're really blessed. There's really no other way to explain it than that.
It seems like one of the most important things in a volleyball game is communication. Can you talk to how important that is for your team to be successful?
Very, very, very. Because obviously there's everybody has their certain responsibilities on the court. And if those aren't communicated, a lot of time there's collisions, which causes injuries. And our girls actually, we do a lot of time, we thankfully, especially this year, we have a really long preseason. So we have 3 weeks to prepare for our first game. And that'll allow the girls to get really, really comfortable with each other and make sure that they know who's playing what and who's doing what, which takes out a little bit of that necessity for communication. But our girls are really high energy. They talk a lot. They know each other well. And it seems to work really well with that communication aspect.
How important is veteran presence and leadership to you
Very.
guys to have a successful season? Yeah.
Very, very, very. That's like what I was talking about earlier with that understanding what it takes. Like understanding what it takes to be committed to winning and be committed to continuing the path that we've been on. And a lot of times we choose not to talk about our past success because we say that, like, you know, every year it's an organic thing. It's different.
It's new. It's fresh.
So you have to get used to that. So what happened before doesn't really matter, but it does, you know, like in the same breath. And this year we're returning most of our starters from last year. So, and they're only juniors, with the exception of like Riley and Mackenzie Blackwell, but they've been through it. And Allie Fesco, for instance, she was part of that state championship team. So she gets it. She gets what it takes. So it'll be a nice ride for them. And this year too, the athletic department does a really good job of scheduling us really hard non-conference games. So we just went to NA over the weekend, and NA is one of the top teams in the state.
Absolutely.
So we just went to NA and got to play them over the weekend. This year we got invited to this tournament that's called the Big 8 Catholic Classic, and it's 2 of the top teams in the state, and it's all like the top 8 Catholic schools in the state of Pennsylvania go.
Wow.
And we got invited. It's invite only, so we're super excited about that and very honored and humbled by the whole thing, obviously. But we going to do that and playing that tough out of conference schedule really gets the girls ready. So that's a blessing for us, and we're thankful that they take the time to do that.
Do you foresee any underclassmen taking a bigger role in the team this year?
I'm not sure. I'm not, like, honestly, this is the first year in a really long time that we walked out of, like I said, we had our scrimmage at NA on Saturday, and we walked out, and I told the girls, I was like, I still don't even really know what I'm going to do yet with some of these positions and places, and that's not a bad problem.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
That's a good problem to have.
It's just there's a lot of kids who are just really neck and neck, and it might be a weekly decision for me, and that's fine. But we do have our freshman class is incredibly strong and gifted. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of them crack into the lineup.
You spoke about this a little bit earlier, but the motivation for the team, because you get them, they're ready to go from the beginning, from the first match of the season to the very end of the season in the postseason. How are you able to get them going at the beginning of the season, be able to build upon that throughout the year as you get farther into the playoffs?
Honestly, it's them. Like, it's, I owe half of the stuff that people ask me about has nothing to do with me. I simply facilitate, right?
Yeah.
Like, these girls love each other and they love what they do. So playing and getting to put on that uniform and be together, it really genuinely means something to them. And it's a beautiful thing to watch happen, because they do it for each other without any hesitation. They really do. And they just get pumped up to play, and they're excited about the tradition that they're building. And it's, I don't know, it's like it's really great. I feel like this has been amazing. Like, it's just been an amazing experience overall being here at North, and the girls that we get and what they want. They have big goals. Like, we have a lot of kids that really, really desire strongly to go on and play in college. So every day is a step towards their goal for them. So that's a big deal. It's a big deal.
So you were saying earlier about how the winning culture and how that builds that kind of esteem to the school and to the program. Do you think that's attributed to getting more younger talent, as you said with the freshmen, so much younger talented freshmen, and more experienced freshmen? That has to play a part in it, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, it absolutely does, because those new kids come in every year and push the older kids to be at their best. So it does make a big difference. And last year it was our sophomores. Last year our sophomore class was really strong, and they pushed those older kids to get better and better and better, and they ended up catching them, if not beating them out for positions. And it was great. I mean, that group in our freshman class, and like I said, in the sophomores, they're all really good, to be honest with you. Yeah. But like, they're good. I mean, we're, like I said, blessed. It's like, I'll keep saying it over and over again, because every day I wake up and walk into that gym, it slaps me in the face, like, with how just blessed we are to have the people together that we do. I mean, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So
what expectations and goals do you have for the team this year?
I have goals for them to get better every day. And like I said, every year we talk about, one of my big things is one day at a time, one game at a time, one play at a time, one ball at a time. So we try not to look forward. We know that people out there are gunning for us, so it's overwhelming to look at the whole thing. Like, in the next week or so, we'll start talking about our first games that we're playing. I think we play Quaker Valley first. I'm not really 100% sure, because I haven't like put the schedule down in my head yet, because it's still like 3 weeks away. But I'm pretty sure it's like Quaker Valley or a section opponent that we play first, and we'll start talking about that at the beginning of that week, and getting ready for that. But right now we're just working on getting ourselves comfortable with each other. So that's probably... Did I answer your question? I'm sorry, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I was like, did I even? I don't remember what you said.
That's good. So that's all the questions we have. But what a better backdrop to have for this interview than the chapel right here? As you mentioned so many times, blessed.
Yes.
And we are blessed to have you here today. And we wish you the best of luck this season.
Thank you so much, guys, and thank you for having us and doing this for the girls. I know it means a lot to them.
Yeah, this is a great interview.
Oh,
We're looking forward to covering you guys this season.
Please, we would love to have you. We'd love to see you in the gym.
Thanks.
All right, you're welcome. Have a good day.
We're here with Sydney Jones of the varsity Trojan volleyball team. Sydney, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Going into the season, you've played a lot, started a lot over your course of your career at North Catholic. Does that help your confidence level going into the season?
Sports are all about confidence, and it's kind of just about the team's confidence and how the team does. And, confidence just comes from the players, comes from my team's success, comes from my team's help getting me there. So, yeah.
You had numerous personal achievements last season, including being first team all-conference, first team all-state. But does that cause you to feel any more pressure to continue that success this season?
No, I don't have any worries about this season. I think it's going to be amazing. I think it's going to be just as good, maybe even better as last year. And hopefully we can get a state championship under our belts this year.
Going into one of your final seasons at North, have you taken more of a leadership role this year?
I think last year, it being my first year at North, I kind of had to just jump into the leadership role early. But I think this year is going to be way more, especially because our star senior Eve Fesco is gone. But yeah, I think it's going to be a lot more leadership this year.
How has Coach Fetter influenced your play?
Wow, I've known Amanda for a really long time before I even got to North, so I think that her just being my coach for club and just knowing her before that and everything she's influenced me in my setting, it's been amazing.
It's given you some good stability, I'm sure, too.
Yeah, knowing
Yeah.
her has been amazing coming here, not knowing anyone. So.
Yeah.
Do you have any personal goals going into the season?
Obviously I want to do as good as I did last year. I think just, having a state championship will be the best I can do.
Well, that's all the questions we've got for you, but we want to wish you the best of luck this season.
Thank you guys.
With Mackenzie Blackwell from the North Catholic girls volleyball team. Mackenzie, thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you for having me.
You've had a lot of success on this team during your time here, but what makes this team so continuously successful?
I think a lot of the times we're built around a family, so
Yeah.
we truly take that and we do our best to bring that on the court. We honestly don't talk about past years. We have not talked about last year once this year, which I think helps in the success because it's kind of out of our minds.
How have you been able to build as a player over the course of a season?
I'm working really hard just to get better and be a supportive teammate, which I think is helping a lot.
How important has leadership, past leaders, influenced your development?
Elizabeth Fusco is a great example of a leader. I try to model myself off of her because she has done a tremendous job with this team and just leading us to multiple victories.
Yeah.
So,
Big victories, yeah.
yeah.
How important is it to take a game-by-game approach and not look ahead to the future?
That's very important to us. We don't talk about any future games. We just talk about the game coming up. We focus on that game. We do what we need to do, and then we move on to the next game.
Do you have any personal goals for this season?
Just to become a better player and to be a good leader to everyone on my team. I think that's very important.
Well, that's all we got for you. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us, and good luck this season.
Thank you.
We're with Alex Sepsic of the North Catholic Trojan varsity volleyball team. Alex, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Alex, during your time here at North, what have you noticed most about the culture of the team?
Well, everyone's really, really friendly, and as the practices go on, you can tell that you're creating bonds with the people you're playing with, even if you may not know them very well. But once you go through a few practices with them, you tend to create a family-like bond, and I trust these girls like with everything.
Do you think that this year's team might have a younger core than past years?
I think so. We do have a lot of upcoming freshmen and sophomores. Our team is mainly juniors, but I think the upcoming freshmen and sophomores are creating a really strong basis for the team.
How does having a training camp before the season, like your coach mentioned that you have 3 weeks before your first preseason game, how does that really help you guys get ready for the regular season?
I think it really helps because it gets you acclimated with the people, and it gets you acclimated with coaching styles, and it gets you in shape for the training even if you don't do other sports or athletics.
Communication, volleyball, so important on the court and off the court for that matter. But how do you develop that communication to be able to build up that trust between teammates on the court?
Well, learning what to say, what helps your teammates, and how to speak in the right way, I guess, or say the right words, that really helps, not just speaking gibberish,
Mm-hmm. Have you set any personal goals for yourself this season?
I think this season I really want to get better as a player and a teammate and become more communicative and, I don't know, just have a fun time.
Well, Alex, we really appreciate you joining us today, and have the best of luck this season.
Thank you so much.
We're with North Catholic Trojan volleyball player McKenny Martha. McKenny, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
How have the coaches over your time at North helped you progress as a player?
I feel like ever since I started playing volleyball at North, I've really gotten better as a volleyball player on and off the court. They really focused on playing as a team, and that's really helped over the years.
What do you think is the key to having a successful season?
I think being close with your teammates, because if you're close with each other, it helps you on the court. You're able to help each other out, pick each other up when they're down, and it's easier that way. It's not always about skill, I feel like, with volleyball.
What have you been trying to improve the most over this off season?
I feel like communication is big in volleyball, and me personally, just focusing on my role on the court has been big, but I feel like as a team, we're focusing on not letting what happened in past years define what's going to happen this year, because it's hard to it's hard to build up expectations when our volleyball program has been so good the past couple of years.
With the team, and we talked to Coach about this too, the importance of not looking ahead, as you just said. Not looking ahead or not looking behind you at your past success, not looking ahead to like the WPIAL playoffs or anything like that. How important is that for you guys to keep that game-by-game approach?
I say if we switched and don't do game by game, it's going to be really hard for us to continue winning, because the more you look ahead, the more nervous you get and more pressure you feel. So you want to make sure you just take it one step at a time.
Lastly, do you have any personal goals set for yourself this season?
I feel like this season I'm just going to try to be a good teammate and focus on helping the team win games however I can.
Well, that's all the questions we got for you, McKinney, but we want to wish you the best of luck this season.
Thank you.
And you just heard from Coach Amanda Fetter, and she was great, and all the girls were great too.
Yep, they're great interviews. They're looking for another good season this year. And to watch the videos of these YouTube, along with just listening to them, you can go to the North Catholic Sports Network YouTube channel. And I believe they're on the website also, which is northcatholicathletics.org. So if you can look that up, and you'll find the videos there. And Mr. Hoffman did a great job putting that website together. And the YouTube channel, you can watch all the videos there as well, with our past interviews with Coach O'Shea and all the football players as well.
And you can obviously subscribe to the YouTube channel and check those out everywhere else, and listen to this wherever you listen to podcasts. And it's on the website too, because you can now download it on the website, which makes it a lot easier for a lot of people. So this week, as you're listening to this now, the football team is playing Friday the 27th against Hopewell. We will recap that on our next episode, which will be next week. And there's a lot of stuff starting to stir up here, Ryan.
Yes, there is. I mean, football team, they did have a loss though. Carson Laconey, I think he tore something.
I think he broke his collarbone.
Which is a big loss because he's their best safety. But
we just talked to him the other day, and such a great guy.
That was a great interview with him. But they're trying to build up the depth as well as that what Coach O'Shea talked about. So hopefully they can regroup from that and have a good first game against Hopewell. And that wraps up today's podcast. It was a good one as always. We're looking forward to doing more of these, Alex.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure as always, Ryan.
And remember, we are your home for North Catholic Athletics.